It's not about me, but it's about you, Lord Jesus.
Hi, my name is Carrie Anthony of Kingdom at Hand International Ministries, Carrie Teresa Global, and writer, author, published author of Sexploitation, and our new upcoming book, The Unbreakable Marriage, with me and my husband. Me and my husband do a lot of Facebook Lives, and so I would allude to certain scenarios that have happened, but I was like, I'm not going to put all this out there. If they want to find it, they better go to YouTube, and I was like, I'm going to put some YouTube videos out there. So here I am finally putting out these YouTube videos. This is going to be my first official story time. If you look back on my video on my video list, you'll see that I've released a video in 2014 detailing the pain, the hurt, and the shame that I was dealing with in 2014 when I first found out the affair came out. The affair came out April 24th, 2014. 4/24/2014. But this is going to be my first story time of 5/31/2014 when I almost went to prison. So I'm going to entitle this When I Almost Went to Prison. This is a police report. I'm not doing this for clickbait. I can't make this stuff up. This stuff has happened in my real life. I almost went to prison. So it starts off 5/31. It's a Saturday. I wake up. I didn't feel like the day was right. I feel like it was going to be a bad day. I only got an hour's worth of sleep because, when you are going through infidelity, I don't know, that thing just keeps you up because you don't feel safe in your house. You don't feel safe sleep. You just don't feel safe. So I was up. Like, I would probably get 30 minutes of sleep, and anytime I fell asleep, I was back up because I just felt like the other shoe gonna drop. And so I was living in intense fear at the time. And so my husband says to me, well, look, I'm gonna wake up. When we get up, we're gonna go out as a family. We're gonna hang out. I really want this marriage to work. I want us to work. I don't want to lose you and the kids, yada, yada, yada. So at the time, I just really wanted to believe him. I was just like, I love him. He still loves me. We can get through this, whatever. So I was like, okay, that's fine. So he says, well, first I'm going to go play basketball. At the time, that's what he did. He played basketball. So that was fine. I could see him through two houses where I live at. Like, it's like in between houses, I could see him playing. So I knew when he was over there. I knew when he was not over there. I knew when he was on his way home because I could see him rounding the way through the houses. So my mother-in-law says, it's been an hour and a half. He ain't playing no basketball. Go look. So to walk to see in between the two houses where he is, it's about a 5-6 minute walk. I got there. I didn't see him in between the houses. When I say I walked about 4 blocks in 2 minutes, it was like I blinked and I was back in my house. So I got back in the house. I was kind of bewildered. I was like, he's not there. And my mother-in-law was like, get in your truck and go get him. So I got in my truck. Now, I live in a subdivision, and there's a subdivision just southwest of where I live. Brand new houses, hills and winding roads. And so I was like, well, I'm going to get in my car. I'm going to go over there and see, if he's at the park. Me still trying to believe because, love believes all things, hopes all things. So I love him. I hope the best for this situation. So got in the car. I started my little trek around the winding road, and my eyes caught her. And it was like everything slowed down in that minute. I looked at her. She looked at me. He looked at me. I said, oh, they trying to take my kindness for weakness, huh? Mind you, I'm on a hill with winding roads. I backed my truck up. I had a Mitsubishi Endeavor. Backed that thing up 85 miles an hour in a straight line. Didn't hit nobody's car that was parked on the street. Didn't run into nobody's lawn. Didn't hit nobody's mailbox. Like, it was precise, aerodynamic. I was so mad that it was just like, I whipped that car around in a 3-point turn and just gunned on the gas, heading northeast, on the street. She tried to get away, so I tried to get her attention. So I tapped the bumper of her car. She had this little bitty car, and I did like this, move over. She wouldn't move over. She moved faster. So I backed my truck back and bam, hit her car. Bam, hit her car. On the third time I hit her car, then she was coming up on one-way traffic going east and west. And so this thought just hit my mind, like, you about to be the instrument of God's judgment today. And so I hit that car one more time and tried to send it out into one-way traffic on the other side, against traffic. And so she was like quick on her feet. She turned that wheel and then tried to get away. I T-boned her car and pushed it right into the gas station that's right there. It took me so long for me to get back into going to this gas station, because when I say I got out that car cutting up 100 miles an hour, I was like, how could you do this to me? You said you were done with her. You lied. You lied and I caught you. You taking my kindness for weakness. Like, I got out screaming, hollering. I was like, get out the car to her. She would get out the car. He got out the car. I was like, yeah. I like my hand all in his face going off. And so people started clapping. Like, everybody was watching and they clapping now. I was so humiliated when I slowed down and thought about it later. Undercover cop walks up and he was like, we all know what's going on over here. This looked like attempted murder, and they could actually charge you in this city for attempted murder. Lady, go home. Go home. Just go home. Because he said the police will be here soon. So I get in the car. I like rushed off. I made a left into my subdivision, back into my area. I saw the grill of my truck sitting on the ground. I grabbed that joker. I threw it into the truck, and then like gunned the rest of the way home, put the car on the pavement, went in the house, took a shower, changed my clothes, put my hair inside of a ponytail, because my hair was down. I put it inside of a ponytail. I was like just sitting. I called my pastoral assistant. I was like, you need to come over here because it's going down. I'm going crazy right now. It's going crazy. Come on over here, baby. Come on over here. So she comes over. She's like, what is going on? I was like, I hit a car. You know what I'm saying? They talking about attempted murder. It's going down. The city started calling the house. Like, you need to come and explain yourself. I called my mom. I'm like, I tried to kill them and now I got you that city trying to come get me. My mother's like, stop saying you tried to kill them before you go see them, please. So we got in the car. My mother drove me up there. When I say I saw the back of that car and it was like smashed all the way up. It was like a 4-door car, but I smashed that car. It was a hatchback. I smashed it all the way up to the passenger seat. Like, I went in. They worked it out with them to just say, it was an accident and that they would drop all charges. So, at least they had some sense. The husband and old girl had some sense. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm going to call it, old girl. Had some sense enough to just say that. Police tell me, fill out this, this is an accident. You're going to have to pay for it. Cool, I got this. I got insurance. That's what insurance companies do. Go ahead. I go back home. I wanted to go back home. Why I get in the car, my mother and her and my mother-in-law cooked up this scheme to follow them back into her town, which is another state, and like basically confront them both. So we on some cheaters this day. So my mother-in-law follows them. We are like 6 car lengths behind my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law is right behind them, and she told them, I'm following y'all. She said, I'm following. She didn't say that me and my mother was following. I just want to go home and be with my kids. I need to see those little faces that look like mine to give me some hope. Somebody to love me in this moment unconditionally, because, man, almost like attempted murder. So my other pastor says start calling. He's like, where are you at? I'm up here. I just left the municipal court. Where are you at? I said, I'm in the car. My mother, she talking about following him over there. He says, put me on speakerphone. Let me speak to her. My mother's on the speakerphone. He was like, please stop. Do not do this. Please don't do this. My mother's like, I don't care. I'm doing it. It's going to happen today. Like, my mother is a G. My mother-in-law is a G. They're both G's from way back. So we got all the way to the state where this girl is claiming that she's injured and she has a neck injury. When I say my mother-in-law backed her car up and was sitting like the butt of her car was up against the wall of this urgent care, and the front of her car was facing forward so she can see them. My mother parked right behind her, so she parked like this. My mother pulled up behind like this, like block her in so she can't move. And at first I was calm, you know what I'm saying? I was mad, but I was like, attempted murder is still fresh on my head, because that could have been what was going on in my town 20 minutes ago. So I was like, I just want to ask questions. And I'll get into those questions. That'll probably be another story time. So I started talking to her, and My mother was out like yelling at her like, we should beat you up. We should beat your ass. We, just going ham. And I was like, Mom, please just get back in the car. I'm not on that. You see, I'm not on that. My mother had this piece of wood that she tore off of some furniture. Like, it was about like this long and about like that thick. Waving it at the car. I said, Mama, take that in the car with you. Just sit down. I got this. I can handle myself. So I'm like, yeah, like asking her these questions. How could you do this? How could you do this to me? Because I grew up with her. Okay. I've known her since I was probably like 8. So this ain't like brand new stuff. This is some straight up stabbed in the back type stabbed in the back. So I got mad because she turned and looked at me like, and what about you? And I was like, I've never slept around on him. I've never had an affair. Never. Everything is coming because of you. She turned around like, whatever, hoe. And so when she did that, I was like, Mama, give me that piece of wood. My husband jumps out the car, and out of her car, out of old girl car, like charges at me and him fighting. Like we are fist fighting in the street like some thugs. When my mother threw the thing at me, I caught it and I just, with all my might, I just went back and clocked him in the head, like right here, and his head started pouring with blood. So he like threw me to the ground. He threw my mother to the ground. I was like, no, don't you hit her. Threw her to the ground. I got up, I hit him again in the same spot and just made it even more. I got him so he couldn't see, so he's doing that. And I turned the old girl car and I started hitting it. And my mother was like, hit it till he break. Hit it till he break. Bust the window, drag out by her hand, beat her. Like I said, straight up G. So, bust the window. I start feeling in the car. I noticed that she's dialing 911 on her phone. I was like, you calling the police? She was like, you got seconds because they in the area. So I heard the sirens, right? I was like, Mama, we gotta go, we gotta get out of here. She called the police. We hot now, we hot. We got in the car. They had an all points bulletin looking for this Toyota Avalon in this state. We thought we was gonna be blocked in, so we knew, okay, we can't get on the expressway and go back to our state, our town. We gotta go the long way. So we wound up going all through Chicago just to get to the south suburbs in Chicago. Well, I thought I got away with attempted murder again. They took my husband and her to the hospital. She said, she tried to kill us in another city, in her city. She tried to kill us. You need to call their city. You need to call their city. Called the city. They had charged me with battery. Wait a minute. It was battery. It was attempted murder. It was. I had here's my original charge sheet, y'all. Y'all see that? Like I said, I got like intimidation, which is a felony in the state of Indiana. Damaging property, causing a public spectacle. Like they threw the bookends at me on this. But I thought I got away with it. I did not. And that's going to be for another story time. We're going to get into the long thing that came with felony charges and trying to do my job in the church and, trying to live a normal life, trying to see if my marriage is still worth restoring, trying to see if it's worth it to get all this back, because look at what it's costing me. Like, I might go to jail for 15 years. But before I get to that point, I got away. I was back home. I was like, oh, nobody know what I did. It's all good. They're going to leave it alone. No, the state of Indiana came after me. They threw the book at me, put a warrant out for my arrest. And it went down from there. So I'm going to do another story time. And we'll get into how I got caught. And the whole 9 yards. That just sounds so terrible, how I got caught. My case, my trial, all that, everything, my conditions. I'm gonna get into it all. I was like, man, one day I'm gonna just tell the whole story and just put it all out there. And I don't care anymore. I don't have any shame, no guilt, no condemnation, no conviction. I don't even have shame, because at first I felt ashamed to stay in my marriage, that I was still here. Like, there was huge guilt that came with that. Like, I was fighting myself every day. Like, why are you still here? What are you doing? People gonna say you was that stupid woman. And girl, ain't nothing stupid about you. You degreed. You're a mom. You do this, you know. But alas, I had to go through so much guilt and shame, because people, you don't know what you're doing. You need to leave. You need to pack your stuff. You need to go. Yada yada yada. It was hard. Restoration is hard. Like, I could laugh now because that situation is just crazy inappropriate. And during the time I couldn't laugh. I was ashamed of myself. I'm a lady. I'm a ladies lady, but I told y'all on the inside, you know, all my chairs are not pushed up. But you have to get me to a certain point before I even like come all the way out of my person. You know what I mean? Like, I love people. I love hard. I love very, very hard. And so when I feel like my kindness is getting taken for a weakness, it just takes me out my element. And so I was out of my element acting a fool, and I had to deal with that, plus the restoration, plus people's opinions and what they thought I should do, what I thought I should do. I mean, I had to fight me, you know, during the restoration process, because it is like, I need to leave. I deserve better. I deserve everything that God has for me. I deserve love. I deserve to be loved the way that I love. I need to receive that back. I need to give and receive that. I need somebody to go as hard for me as I go for them. I deserve that. And people had well-meaning stuff to say, and I get it, but I was under a different authority. And I'll get into that inside of the video. I got into it inside of the testimony video. So look at the testimony video. I'll see if I can link it to this video so you can see it. But when God spoke to me way before all this came out, he was like, don't you get no divorce. Don't you separate. I will restore this marriage. I only had that to hang on to. And boy, was that the fight of my life. It was not easy. It was hard. So I'll make up a video too as well. I'll probably even have my husband talk on just at length how hard it was, what we went through, what day-to-day life looked like for us to get to where we are now. And God brought us through fairly quickly. Even our restoration counselor, Bishop Nathaniel Isaac, said this is going at a good rate. But just to get to that point, it was hard. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, say it's easy. You know, we are not entitled to easy way. You are entitled to work. You are entitled to see it through to the other side. You are entitled to love hard, fight hard, work hard, and get it to where you want it to be. You have the power to recreate your marriage, your relationship, to what you always envisioned it to be. You have that power. So this is the end of my story time, and I'm gonna do another one on my charges and how I got caught and just the whole 9 yards. But yeah, this is the end of this video. Bye.